really enjoy speaking with General Paul Vallely, and I'm going to bring him in now. Sir, how are you doing?
Well, fine, Todd. Happy to be with you again. As always, you got a great show.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Yeah, it's getting good. We're getting a lot of good feedback. I wanted to get you on because all this stuff, first of all, we had Pompeo over there in Ukraine talking about how he's going to fight this war against Russia and we're going to win and bad things are going to happen. And you had Lindsey Graham and Denang Dick over there, laundering money in the hotels. And what the heck is going on, in your opinion, sir? What say you?
Well, I think the information and the intelligence I'm getting is that the state of the situation there is that Ukraine has lost the ground war. There's no doubt about it. They're trying to recruit off the streets again and pull young men into vans and take them off and try to bring them into the armed forces. But they're done on the ground as far as I'm concerned. Now, what they've had to go to are rockets, missiles, and drones and guerrilla activities inside Russia in Moscow. And of course, with the two railroad bridges that were exploded and basically destroyed, they're repairing them now. So you have Zelensky, the puppet, still being propped up by basically Starmer in UK, Macron in France, and Meltz in Germany. Meltz was just with the president yesterday. But it still comes down to it's got to be solved by Putin and Trump and Zelensky. Zelensky's a puppet, as we know, so he's just in there playing whatever cards he can. However, he's supported by the likes of crazy Lindsey Graham and the neocon Pompeo, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
These guys just stir it up, and they're not making any headway in their efforts.
So you think that's just you don't see their dirty work getting worse over there? I mean, Pompeo lost his security clearance. I mean, how the heck do you? I just it's bizarre. To me, it's just. I mean, the guy's outing himself, and he's a West Point grad. I mean, I'm ashamed of the West Point guys. I mean,
he never accomplished anything in the first term at CIA or State Department, as far as I'm concerned. Smart guy, but on the wrong side of things. But it's interesting on a couple of interviews I've done over the last week. Trump does not have one advisor that understands Russia and Russian motivations and what they're doing. That's why only Trump and Putin can solve this thing. I can't. I think even the CIA still hasn't been cleaned out. I think they're working in the ops center over there with other NATO members, where they're guiding basically this drone technology attacks, plus rockets and missiles. They do have an operations center over there. I think you know that as well.
Yes. What about Russia? How are they seeing all this? I know you have contacts over there. I mean, what are they thinking? Do they just think it's a war inside the U.S. government? Is that how they're viewing this?
No, I mean, they see it as a real war because they've seen the number of Russian soldiers that have been killed or wounded. They certainly would like to see it come to an end. As far as the Russian people are concerned, they don't want to be involved in these extended wars anywhere. And even though, they talk about sanctions on Russia, the Russian people, sanctions don't work against a power like Russia. They do workarounds. If they want bullets or flour or any kind of commodity, they can get it through the BRICS nations. China, for example, India, Brazil, or the other ones that are involved in the BRICS financial system. So it's ludicrous. And the neocons keep pushing, we got to put, all of these tariffs on them, and they don't work. It's ridiculous. Only thing that works is negotiation and settlement.
I completely agree. And now Zelensky wants a ceasefire after he did his little deal on the airfields. He's kind of like a kid that hits one guy a bigger guy on the playground, and then runs to the teacher and says, don't hurt me.
Yeah. Well, in the last 24 hours, Russia has been hitting hard Kiev area. And I don't know the results of that yet, but that's been in the last 24 hours. So Putin has gone on the offensive within the last day.
Yeah, I was talking to one of our sources yesterday on the show, and where would the targets be? I mean, what else is left to hit in Ukraine? I mean, Zelensky's underground somewhere, wherever he is. I mean, they'd love to decapitate the leadership, I think, but what else is there to, strategic targets to hit?
They still say military factories and
Hmm.
storage areas in the Kiev area, maybe troop locations. I don't know, have the specifics on the targets. And,
Hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if Putin just launches a ground attack and takes Kiev and removes Zelensky.
Yeah,
Sure, that's
we
in
may
his planning somewhere.
we may be getting to that point.
Yeah.
Let's switch to the Middle East. What are your thoughts on what's happening with the negotiations in Iran right now?
Well, they're going nowhere really. Iran is not going to give up its program, from the sources I get from our organization here that I support, called Cyrus Force Iran, made up
Hmm.
of a number of American Iranians that have inside information inside Iran. The Ayatollahs have to be removed. As far as the people of Iran are concerned, they don't like the undemocratic society over there. They don't like constantly being in peril. Their economy is not good. Of course, they're still producing oil and sending it to China, but and they're not going to allow inspectors to come in. So two options are: you take out the nuclear facilities, but you somehow work to remove the Ayatollahs. But we don't do very well when we try to remove overseas rulers, do we?
No, we don't. Tucker came out this week and said, "Look, they've been saying Iran has a nuclear weapon for 20 years,
Right. They have.
um, and so why should you?" It's kind of like the boy cried wolf. I mean, why would you believe that at this point? Do you think Iran has a nuclear capability?
Yes, they have nuclear weapons already.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
the reason we know that is from inside information we're getting. Number one, they've had the Shahab rocket system, missile system, for years, that they have focused on putting a nuclear warhead on top of it. They also have the guidance system. They have the
Hmm.
nuclear cone that goes on the top, and that's been worked when they have worked with the North Koreans and Chinese. Every time China had a nuclear, or North Korea had a nuclear test, they always had a team of 12 to 15 Iranians there in North Korea. And
Hmm.
they have the Club K technology to deliver nuclear weapons in a hold of a ship, or in an 18, or in a container, put it on an 18 wheeler and move it by trucks and so on. So they have a full capability with the Shahab. Now, I'm not sure the Shahab it can get to Israel, that's for sure, but I'm not sure they have the intercontinental ballistic system to launch a nuke on the United States. So that's the latest I have. But I'm assured pretty much they already have nuclear capability, and they're not going to give it up.
That's interesting because that's not what we're hearing in the press,
Right.
obviously.
Uh,
Your government doesn't care about you. That's why you need a medical emergency kit. It contains life-saving medications like ivermectin, Z-Pak, and antibiotics. Stock them before they block them.
Since we launched Alp, we've had 4 flavors, but we are proud to announce Alp has a brand new flavor, one of several we'll be rolling out over the next year or so, and it is Sweet Nectar. I have personally tested this product 2 at a time, and it's excellent. Sweet Nectar, the new flavor out from Alp, really, really good. Go to alppouch.com. You can order it in bulk by the pallet if you want. I have strongly recommended Sweet Nectar. And stay tuned for morning flavors.
It's always like 2 weeks or 3 weeks or
Yeah.
I've been working on this for 20 years with the Russians and the Chinese and the North Koreans. And if they wanted more fissionable material, they could buy it from these other countries, even Pakistan. So, I mean, it's naive to think they don't have the capability now.
So why would you want to get into a major war to try to remove that capability when I think, that is just another forever war? I mean, maybe that's the goal. I mean, how do you, why don't you just say, okay, we're going to have deterrence with Iran and let it be that?
Well, that's an option, but we don't trust the Ayatollahs. Nobody
Yeah.
trusts them, basically. They'll do whatever they can to preserve the, what is it, the 12th Imam is going to come up through a well out there sometime, something like that.
Hmm.
I mean, they're not sane, they're totally irrational Islamists. they'll do anything to continue to support terrorism. Other interesting thing in the last 24 hours, the IDF have been hitting targeted places in Beirut City itself, where they have found that through intelligence that Hezbollah has weapon system factories under some of these apartment buildings and larger office buildings in the center of Beirut. So this is a brand new assault.
That is new. So you're saying for Hezbollah or
Hezbollah.
what? Yeah. Let's move to the cartels. What do you see happening on the border with Mexico? And you've written this Sinaloa plan a while back.
Right.
What's the latest?
Well, the latest is 99.9% of the border has been shut down. They're going to put another 20,000 National Guard down there, as I understand. The cartels have basically been shut down as far as the majority of fentanyl flow into the United States. So the cartels are still being surveyed, reconnaissance, watching the 4 or 5 cartel areas down in the Sinaloa area. Certainly, Mexican government's doing nothing to make sure they can neutralize or destroy the cartels. So the cartels are not in good shape now, but still they have billions of dollars that they can use to fund terrorists, say in the United States. So they're still a threat and they need to be destroyed.
So what else are you tracking, sir? Anything else that people need to be aware of?
Well, we're really tracking the biggest fear that I have is intel. It's not the CCP, but it's all the illegals who have come across our border that are still here. We know that a number of types of equipment supplies have been moved in through container ports and pre-positioned. I'm really worried about our water sources, also the electrical grid, farming, food supplies, supply type of stuff. I certainly think these people are still there. Guerrilla type people have been trained. We have a tremendous amount of Chinese that have come in addition to the students, but also teams perhaps of guerrilla type forces that can execute these type of attacks on our inner capability, like the grid system. Even our military bases, have been under surveillance for quite a while by the Chinese. So to me, that's the biggest threat we have. And of course, still the anti-Semitic riots we see in our universities. So we got to get these people out of here as soon as we can. Absolutely.
Well, it looks like Trump's dealing with the universities, but I am concerned also. I'm an Air Force guy, and seeing all those, very expensive aircraft sitting right on the one after the other on the ramp. Didn't we learn anything from Pearl Harbor? Why aren't we hardening? I mean, this has not been something that's taken rocket science to figure out. Why haven't we been protecting our aircraft over the last 20, 30 years and building that capability? And now the drones are here and they're vulnerable. It's disturbing.
Yeah, I mean, these drones could be in these containers brought through the ports of Long Beach and Seattle, Miami, and other different port locations we have in the United States. Louisiana, New Orleans, so it's big up the Mississippi River. They can float these things up. So again, that's my biggest threat is internal threats. And the Democratic Party.
What's that?
And the Democratic Party.
Whatever that is. How do people follow you, sir? Where should they follow what you put? Because you put out a lot.
We do put out a lot of content and intel information every day. Go to standupamericaus.org. And it's got to be standupamericaus.org. There are books, our writings, our intel reports come out there. Join us. We're dependent upon donations. We've been around 20 years and we do good things. We have a great team of people. And what we do is present truth as best we can, analyze what's going on internally and externally, and even within our own government of what we're doing. So join us at standupamericaus.org.
Thank you, sir. We'll have you back down the road. Appreciate your time.